How's it going? Welcome back to my channel. Hope you're living your best life. In today's video, we'll be looking at a classic Karen from the great r/EntitledParents subreddit. Let's get right into it. Several years ago, I worked as a German teacher at a local middle school. I was hired as a long-term sub for a single year, teaching an intro class which lasted 3.5 months. Around the halfway point of each trimester, the students were supposed to be given some sort of midterm, but because I didn't like giving paper tests, I instead had them do a project. Look up one item in a German dictionary for each of the 12 colors we had just finished learning in class, and make a small picture book with 12 pages, and I even went out of my way to cut paper and staple it together to make books for everyone. I had kids drawing their own pictures, printing them out from Google, handing them in early because they had them so quickly, and even competing to see who could come up with the weirdest objects. However, one girl didn't hand her assignment in. I asked her about it and she swore she handed it in, but I didn't have it in my inbox. I searched everywhere but I couldn't find it, so I know I didn't misplace it. Her mother emails me the next day and demands to know where the project is. I explained to her that I never received it and therefore couldn't give her a grade until I received it. I explained the grading policy was to lose 10% for every class day that the assignment wasn't handed in. Class met every other day, and that she could hand it in late if she wanted to. The mother insisted I was lying and went to my principal about it. The principal asked me to explain the assignment to him, and then rolled his eyes and apologized, saying this girl's mother pulled the same thing with the project the previous year in another class, and that the kid was never held accountable for anything. I explained the grading policy to him as established by my department, and he tells me to just keep reminding the girl of the assignment, and eventually called the mother and told her, once again, that this is our grading policy and that we can't make an exception. Her response?
But my daughter worked hard on the project. She works hard in class. She deserves an A.
I had to laugh to myself. I almost had 24 kids in that class who deserved A's. They deserved A's because they earned A's for handing in A-level work. It's been a few weeks and I still don't have the book in my hands, and now I'm more or less forced to give the girl a 0. Between when the project was assigned and the next incident, I gave the girl at least 3 blank books, none of which were handed in. The very same day I enter the 0 in the gradebook though, I get called back into the principal's office because apparently the mother had called the superintendent. He said,
"Just so she stops wasting the superintendent's time, can you just make an exception to the grading policy?"
I sigh and agree to do so, and he responds,
"When she hands in the assignment, give her whatever grade you think she really deserves, other than a 0.
I nod and leave the office. I send the mother an email with her ultimatum. She has until the next day of class to hand in the assignment. If it's 100% correct, I'll give her full credit, which is obviously more than fair considering we're a good 15 class meetings past the project due date. On the very last day of school, I get the project. It's only half done. I enter a grade of 50% in the gradebook, and within seconds, I get an angry email from the mother that is CC'd to the principal, the superintendent, and several other people whose names I don't even recognize. I responded with the screenshot of the previous email I sent her with our terms, shut down my laptop, and handed it in to the IT office. On the way out the door, the principal actually thanks me for everything I did and says,
"She's going to try to get you fired for this, you know."
We share a laugh and I leave the building for the last time. You can't get someone fired who doesn't work there, after all. Great satisfying ending to this story. Spoiling your kid like that almost never ends up well, and this sounds like a classic Karen at work, demanding an A for her kid that hasn't done anything to deserve it. Great to see the principal step up, and I'd love to see her face when she realizes that OP was a sub. My family friend, I'll call her my teacher, is an ex-cosmetologist and an ex-beautician teacher and now owns several highly rated salons and spas. They do hair coloring, cutting, styling, manicures, pedicures, and makeup. She knew I wanted to also do those things, but I'm currently going through college to become a music teacher. She decided since she has a salon near my college, she would teach me her old lessons and what was required to be taught on weekends after the shop closed, my days off, and afternoons in exchange for working reception and as her assistant, which was booking appointments, greeting, checking people in, grabbing things, and doing errands if needed. She also said when I got my license, she would hire me there so I can work during the last years of my college. It's a 5-year degree. My dad gave me a loan to buy the things I would need to be able to do it once he found out it was over $1,000, and I could take out more if needed, for only this, and make payments whenever, no interest charged. My teacher gave me her old makeup kit. There's no makeup, just something for transporting it easily in. That only was dirty and didn't have any locks on it, and my dad painted it white and painted cherry blossoms with my name in big neon pink letters on it for an Easter gift for me. I leave my kit in my room in the corner behind my dresses for my musical performance for college since quarantine. Now, my stepmom is just getting interested in makeup. I give her tips and a list of what products would be good for her skin, mature, dry, and sensitive skin. I even told her I'd give her a discount if she wanted me to do her makeup, which was the price of the products used only. Her response was,
"Why can't you do it for free? We're family."
My entitled mother alarms were going off. I told her I needed to pay back the loans I have and left when she started getting mad. I already didn't like nor respect her at this time. I leave for the night. I lock my bedroom door and bring the only key to my bedroom in the house with me. I went to a family barbecue for Memorial Day weekend and stayed for 2 nights. When I came back, my bedroom door was unlocked, which is a red flag since it's a force of habit to lock it. I looked and saw my kit in the middle of the room open. That was a red flag factory. I just broke down and cried. My dad saw me and saw what was in my room, and he knew that it was all wrong. My stepmom comes down wearing the makeup from the kids and wondered what was wrong. My dad asked her what she had done, and my stepmom told him,
"Well, I made a copy of her key and borrowed your stuff. Makeup is cheap, you can replace it."
I almost punched her. My dad took her into the garage and tore her a new butthole. She cried, said he was overreacting, and drove off to her son's, daughter's, brother's house. I calculated how much it would cost for me to sanitize, clean, and replace the things that couldn't be sanitized, like eyeliners, mascaras, broken brushes, broken powder products, whole pallets that had been completely destroyed, etc., and shipping for all of it. It came out to over $750. One of my palettes was $44 alone and was a personal favorite brand of mine. Shout out to Glamlight. My dad sold one of her sewing machines, returned the build-it-yourself dollhouse that he had bought her, and sold things of hers until he got over $900, all in cash. He used some of that money to replace my locks, and only one key was made, and transferred the rest of the money to my account, which I used to get what I needed to replace everything, using my code that all beauticians have to get a small discount with certain brands. I ended up having about $100 left over and used it to buy my dad's Father's Day gifts and gave the leftover money as loan payment. When my stepmom came back, she freaked out at my dad and I for
destroying her hopes and dreams.
All I said was, "You break it, you buy it." She screamed at both of us and said she deserved all the things that she paid for. I was petty enough to have left her all the broken and unusable makeup and brushes where her sewing machine used to be, with the cost of each product plus shipping taped to it. She refuses to look, talk, or even be in the same room as me now, and my dad said that she had one more chance before he kicked her out for good. So, happy ending, but the entitled mother / my stepmom is still as entitled as before. I always lock my room now and keep my personal makeup in my room. Quick add-on, my dad always told me something. Don't piss off and don't mess with people who handle your food or money, and that money and time are 2 things that you should never waste. So when my stepmom had done that and messed with technically my money, he was pissed that she was wasting my money. So he made sure in the end, she only wasted her money and not mine. A story with the common evil stepmother persona, but a rare and uplifting case of a great dad. Good on OP for learning new skills, and luckily the stepmom got what she deserved. This student was an entitled only child. This was during my music years. ES was in first grade and was an entitled student. She believed she had all kinds of allergies and sicknesses because her mom told her so. She would come to class and tell me she could not sit next to specific students because her mom told her she didn't have to. She would tell me she didn't have to sing if she didn't want to because her mom told her she didn't have to. If we played a game in class and she lost, she would stomp her foot and get mad and say she was not playing anymore. It became a literal tug-of-war in class with her every day. One day, the entitled student walks into our music class with a set of headphones, the really big noise-canceling ones. Now, these are normal for students with exceptionalities or sensory issues, but she had neither of those, at least not from what the testing could tell at her age. Not to mention they were her own pair from home, not the ones we provided at the school. I see you have headphones today.
Yes, I do.
Can you share with me why you have those today?
My ears hurt because this class is too noisy and my mom said I could wear them and just sit down.
We had issues with her not wanting to do the Christmas concert too. Well, if you just sit down and don't practice, then you won't be able to sing during the spring concert.
You can't do that. We are all allowed to sing at the concert.
It is your choice. You can sit out with your headphones and not sing, or you can practice with the rest of us and sing. Entitled student was not happy and put the headphones over her ears and sat out the whole class time. Trying to be proactive because we had a similar issue at Christmas, I emailed the entitled mother telling her all about the situation, and this was her response.
I already know what happened. AES has already told me. If AES says her ears hurt from noise, you need to accommodate her and let her wear the headphones. She is an easy child and you're making it harder by not helping her when she needs it. She has already told me she doesn't want to sing in music anymore, or for the concert, and I fully support her. If you could just give her something else to do during music class, like reading or drawing, that would be great. Thanks.
I guess I wasn't aware of the option to pick and choose what your elementary student does in school? Silly me. I took it to my admin, to which she had grown tired of these situations. Her response was,
"Well, if she wants her child to do something else, we will let her do something else."
We ended up gathering all the items that needed to be deep cleaned from the class, like caddies, utensils, chairs, etc. When the next class time came, we told the entitled student that because she didn't want to sing anymore, she would sit in the admin's office and clean for 45 minutes. The entitled mother ended up calling, which we knew she would, and telling us how unprofessional and wrong it was to have her child cleaning during school hours. We informed her that, by her own omission, she supported her entitled student's choice to not sing, and we accommodated her by giving her something to do appropriate to her level of learning. Entitled student begrudgingly sang for the rest of the year. She was a nightmare at the actual spring concert. Once her class had sang their pieces, entitled student was sitting with her mom in the audience, who let her roll under the seats to the stage. When asked to get her child, she responded with,
If she is happy, that's all I care about.
We ended up taking entitled student to the back of the gym in between songs, to which her mom got up and left with her. From what I've seen, only children tend to go one of a few ways: completely entitled like this kid in this story, or a very independent and hardworking one. I guess the biggest influence is probably the fact that the mom is a Karen. I would say the two places where Karens gather their most entitled energy is at schools and stores.